Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My apologies, there is construction going on, so you hear some noise in the background. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. In today's video, I'm doing a recap of the Bluenose 5K race that I did on May 20th. It was my first postpartum race, and it was like ripping off a band-aid, and it was hard, but I'm getting ahead of myself. You know the drill. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. So let's talk about my Bluenose 5K race recap. So let's start at the expo, which was the Friday the night before. Liam had texted me earlier on Friday saying there's posts on Instagram saying the lines were huge, but I don't think I really believed him. I did believe him when we got there and the line wrapped around the entire building. I believe it took us maybe an hour and a half to get inside of the building, which is crazy. I felt like I was back at Boston at the expo, and this just is Halifax, and that's okay, but yeah, it was a crazy line. We had brought Luke because we couldn't leave him alone, so we had him in the stroller and we'd pick him up, and at the end he was starting to get overweighting. It was kind of annoying. There was nothing in the email saying that the expo wasn't stroller friendly, so we brought our stroller, otherwise we would have brought our carrier, but we had our stroller and they're like, you can't take that inside because there's steps going down, because it was in a hockey rink. You'll see in a clip that there was actually like a lineup of strollers, as we weren't the only one who brought our baby and stroller. I think, yeah, they just had a low amount of volunteers, I heard, and just not enough to keep up with the demand. The race was super popular, and this is like the first time they had the expo since before COVID, I believe. I also saw that in the lineup when we were waiting for our, to get up our bib, that they were making the bags as they went. And I was like, oof, this could be maybe a little more effective, but anyways. We got our bib, and then I walked around the expo. Luke had an explosion of sorts, so Liam went to go deal with that, and I walked around and I actually found Liam a pair of RC Elites, like the first version, and it was on super sale, which is amazing. Otherwise, there wasn't a huge amount at the expo, just some random booths, and we got some juice. It was okay. I forgot to mention that Liam was racing the marathon on the Sunday and I was doing the 5K on the Saturday. So that's why we both had to pick up our bibs. So we got home and we had some pasta, surprise, surprise, for supper. I'll show the recipe here, but it's one of Liam's favorites and mine too, and it's just just a really tasty pasta without being too heavy in the stomach. I don't really like meat sauce before a race, as I find sometimes meat just doesn't agree with me, but this one worked well. I laid out my clothes the night before, and it had been a long time since I had done a flat lay, is that what it's called? On the bed with my shoes and kit and everything, and it just felt really good and scary to be getting ready for a race again. I had done races while I was pregnant, and I think the last one I actually did was a 5K, but a 5,000 meter on the track, but I was pregnant and I didn't push myself at all. I just ran what I felt I could at the time, but this time I have no excuse. I am not pregnant and maybe not sleeping a lot, but still, I had no excuse of being pregnant. It was amazing. Luke only woke up twice the night before my 5K. It was such a gift from him to me that he just only woke up quickly to eat and then went back down, and it was amazing because we're still dealing with some sleep issues, sleep not going well, but this night he did amazing. It makes such a difference when you sleep. I forget what it's like to sleep. The race was at 8 a.m. so I got up at just before 6, and so I wanted to eat a couple hours before the race. So I had my coffee and a bagel with some honey on it and just had that before the race. For a 5K, you don't need a carb load, so I didn't need to drink any Morton drinks the night before or the morning of and really worry about eating too many carbs, but I did have a bagel because I know that that's works for my stomach and never had any issues. And the honey is sweet and works well. And the coffee, I'm torn between drinking coffee before races or my long runs. I'm still not sure if it works for me. How about you? Do you drink coffee before your runs or your long runs or races? Let me know in a comment below. We're so lucky because we actually lived really close to the start line and finish line. So I didn't have to worry about driving and figuring parking and all that fun stuff, so we could just walk. It was a beautiful day. I forget the exact temperature. It was perfect. We walked as a family up to the start line and I did a short, I think 1.5K warm-up. I lined up near the front, but I turned around and there was a huge amount of people behind me. I was surprised, or pleasantly surprised, how well attended this race was. I found some of my teammates from the Halifax Hammers and I was very happy to see them. Liam and Luke, that's hard to say. Liam and Luke went to go cheer just a little farther away from the start line as it was just so crowded that he wouldn't have really seen me, and so he could cheer for me there. My initial goal was to go out like a little conservative and then at the second half ramp it up and see if I could go faster. Of course, I didn't listen to myself and I just kind of got caught up with the crowd and kind of just got pulled a little faster than maybe I should have been doing.
Go Amy! Woo! You got it!
Mara, go Amy!
Go Amy! Woo!
Looking at my splits, the first 2 kilometers were exactly 3:44 pace, 3:47, and then there's a little wind, and then 3:54, and then 3:50 was the final kilometer split. So my heart rate kind of went from 138 all the way to 182 at the end. Oops. So yeah, it was a little tough at the end. I slowed down, but actually not too much. There was just that 1 kilometer, but not too bad. Maybe it was posted on the website, but I didn't realize that the finish line wasn't the same as the start line. In a distance, I could see this like red arch, and it was maybe, I felt like it was like half a kilometer away still, and I was like, I don't have enough in me to sprint towards that finish. So I got into the oval, and by the time I realized that the finish line was actually just halfway to that red arch, there was another arch. If I had known, maybe I could have done a sprint finish to the end and gotten a little faster, but oh well. That was like my main complaint, is I just didn't know where the finish line was, and that kind of distracted me.
You got this! You got this!
So I crossed the finish line and my chip time was 19:21. Definitely not a PB, but I'm very happy still with the time that I ran it. I would have, of course, loved to do under 19, but that will be another 5K race. According to Strava, the distance was actually 5.10 kilometers. That's 100 meters extra, and apparently someone told me that on the website they actually said that the course was long. And I'm like, why didn't they just move the finish line a little sooner and then it wouldn't have been long? I don't quite understand their reasoning. I raced in the Metaspeed Skies. These are like the original ones that I got maybe a couple years ago, and I only race in them short distances. These fit very snug, so if I ran a marathon in them, my feet would actually explode. I really love the Metaspeed Sky. They're really snappy. I like the cushioning in them, and I just feel fast in them. They're super duper light, so I'm happy with these for shorter distance races. I might even do my 10K coming up in a few weeks in them, we'll see, but they're quite fun to run in. And of course there's newer versions of it, but I love these shoes. I'm saving my Vaporflies for Chicago in the fall, so I don't want to wear them. I wore them at Boston, and I just want to keep them now in my closet until it's race day. To recap the whole race, I have a couple thoughts. I actually ran exactly what I thought I would. What do you mean, Amy? I had a pace in mind, basically 3:50, and that's exactly what I did. I was texting my coach after the race and like, surprise, I ran exactly what my training was showing. And I was pretending to be upset that I didn't magically run faster than what my fitness was showing. I have seen this happen though. Magic does happen and people run way faster than what they were training at. Unfortunately, this did not happen to me on this Saturday morning, but I still felt really, really great about how it went. After running through pregnancy, I feel like I really know my body and what it means to run by feel. Before, I mean, I'm still married to paces. I still like seeing what pace is on my watch, but the whole entire race, I didn't look at my watch. Maybe I glanced at it to see how much longer until this race is done, but I didn't really see what pace I was going. It's also hard because I haven't raced in a while, like not pregnant, and actually put myself out there, and I didn't want to explode before the finish line. I will be the first person to tell you that I am not a 5K racer. I much prefer the marathon. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but give me the marathon any day. But because I'm not a 5K racer, I feel like that race has a bit more strategy or pacing, and if you miss your pacing or you go too slow, it's really hard to catch that time up at the end. Maybe I could have gone faster, maybe I could have pushed, but I just didn't know, or I just didn't trust that I wouldn't explode like a kilometer before the race. There's so many what ifs, but again, 350 was what the paces I had been doing the week leading up to this race. However, I feel like I'm getting stronger every single week in every workout that I do. So if this race had been maybe a week or 2 weeks later, I definitely would have been able to run it faster. Recovery has gone pretty well. Recovering from a 5K is much nicer than a marathon, I will say. I took Sunday off because Luke and I went and watched Liam run his marathon, and it was not a great day outside. I felt terrible that I had a nice day for my race and Liam did not. Do I wish I could have run faster? Yes, definitely, but I am so proud of myself for getting back out there, and only 6 months or 6.5 months postpartum, so I'm very, very happy that I'm able to run under 4-minute pace. It was only a few weeks ago that I could barely run faster than 4:15 a kilometer. I hope you enjoyed this race recap, and if you did, click that like button. I can't wait to share more race recaps and training videos, and if there's a video in particular you'd like to see, please tell me in a comment below. Happy running and racing, and I'll see you later.